The Hayden name shall die in the 3rd generation, and the last to bear the name shall die in poverty.
All right, Jeff, what was that? Why didn't you tell me this Albany, Vermont mansion is haunted?
Ray, I believe that was the dying voice of Mercie Hayden.
Who was she?
She's the person responsible for the Hayden family curse. Hi, I'm Jeff Belanger.
And I'm Ray Auger, and welcome to episode 32 of the New England Legends podcast. Give us 10 minutes, and we'll give you something strange to talk about all day.
And please subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcasts. We don't want you to miss a thing.
All right, Jeff, that voice. I'm spooked. Is the curse real?
Our story begins in 1798, when William Henry Hayden marries Silence Dale in Braintree, Massachusetts.
Wait a minute. The bride's name was Silence?
Yeah, not a popular name for a woman anymore.
I would think not.
So the couple get married, and like so many young people just starting out, they have big dreams, but not a lot of money.
Well, that's like us. Exactly like us. When we married our wives, we had big dreams and not a lot of money.
Yeah, but sadly, nothing's changed. We still have big dreams and not a lot of money.
That's true.
Okay, but unlike you and me, Ray, William Henry Hayden had something we don't.
A wealthy relative.
A wealthy relative.
Hayden's mother-in-law, Mercie Dale, is a rich widow. And of course, she wants to help her daughter and her new son-in-law start their lives together.
Hayden's dream is to acquire land. Lots of it. He fancies himself a future land baron.
Land is the one thing they're not making any more of.
True, and Hayden knew it back then. So in 1801, he borrows a chunk of money from his mother-in-law, and the three of them move far north to near the Canadian border and buy land in what will become the town of Albany, Vermont.
Ouch. So he gets a loan, but he has to live with his mother-in-law?
That's the deal.
Maybe being poor isn't so bad.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Up in Albany, Hayden borrows a little more money from Mercie to buy even more land. He eventually becomes the town surveyor of Albany. He reportedly would take plots of land in lieu of a paycheck.
While owning more land is great, that doesn't exactly put food on your table.
No, it doesn't. Not unless you're willing to sell that land, farm it, lease it, or do something profitable.
Which William Hayden was not doing.
The other thing Hayden was not doing was paying back the loan to his mother-in-law.
And as you can imagine, this is causing tension in the family. Still, Mercie Dale continues to lend her son-in-law money. He expands his empire and promises her that payback is just around the corner.
During these early years, Hayden purchased a weaving mill, a local store, and then he won an election to the office of town selectman. He was even the customs officer for the region, considering they were only 20 miles from the Canadian border.
So he's got land, now he's got businesses, plus the power and prestige of local political office, but none of these things is helping to pay back Mercie Dale.
Rumors start flying around the community that Hayden is abusing his powers as a customs officer to smuggle cattle across the border in exchange for bribes and kickbacks. And it doesn't help that Hayden appears to have champagne taste when it comes to clothes, food, and everything else in life.
All of this adds up to Mercie Dale no longer trusting her son-in-law. She believes he squandered the money she lent him, and now she's coming to realize she very likely won't see any of her money paid back. Mercie soon takes ill, and she accuses her son-in-law of slowly poisoning her, so he never has to pay her back. She moves out of the house to live with her neighbor, Sally Rogers.
Now, none of this phases William Hayden, though. He borrows more money from other people, and given all his land and prestige, no one has any reason to believe that they won't get their money back.
Well, meanwhile, Mercie Dale's health continues to deteriorate, but her anger and fury shows no decline. On her deathbed in 1806, in the presence of Sally Rogers, she utters these ominous words.
The Hayden name shall die in the 3rd generation, and the last to bear the name shall die in poverty.
Besides the curse, one of Mercie Dale's dying wishes was that she not be interred in the Hayden family plot. Instead, she's buried in the Rogers family cemetery. In the coming year, William Hayden's spendthrift ways catch up with him, and soon he's on the run from his creditors. He leaves the region and dies a poor man in Parishville, New York in 1848.
We've said before that curses are real if you believe in them. So the obvious question here is, how did Mercie Dale's curse work out?
William and Silence Hayden had 9 children together, but only 2 of those children survived to adulthood. The family curse wasn't talked about around the kids, but it wasn't forgotten in Albany either. So the 2 children who survived to be adults were William Hayden Jr. and daughter Azuba.
All right, they would both be second generation since their father, so no curse yet.
No, not yet. William Jr. found his fortune in the railroad business, and in 1854, he goes on to build this opulent mansion we're standing in as a monument to himself. He spares no expense from the brickwork to the ballroom floor, which has springs under it to give dancers a little bounce in their step. They live the high life, throwing lavish parties. They employ servants and flaunt their wealth, all in an effort, to quote William Jr., to show the fools in Albany what money can do.
William Jr. has only one son to carry on the family name, Henry Hayden, who, like his father and grandfather, lived like a trust fund kid. Though unlike his father, Henry wasn't earning any money, just spending it.
So Henry marries and goes on to have 3 daughters and 1 son.
Now Henry is the third generation of Haydens, the cursed generation.
That he is. Henry's son dies at the age of 5 from illness. Wills were contested, the remaining daughters squabble, and the family fortune dwindles to nothing. Henry dies broke in 1910. Eventually, Henry's only remaining daughter, Armenia, dies in 1927, alone and penniless. Mercie Dale's curse, it would seem, was now complete.
The mansion stood vacant for many years until 1957, when it was purchased by Reverend William Chadwick and restored.
And though the mansion was fixed up, apparently it still echoes from the Haydens' past. Once word spread about the fall of the Hayden family, and someone connected it to Mercie Dale's curse coming true, claiming the house was haunted isn't much of a supernatural stretch.
According to a newspaper account, a woman who grew up in the house said her mother had seen a man wearing a top hat in the living room dressed in formal clothes. And she'd also seen a little boy running through the hallways.
Sometimes music is still heard in the old ballroom, where dancers once twirled on a springy floor. These ghosts call us back to the Hayden family. They remind us that sometimes, even if you don't believe in curses, they still come true.
Jeff, please remind me if I ever get rich not to fight with my family about money.
Ray, I don't think either of us really need to worry about that.
No, you're probably right. But we do have a growing number of legendary listeners tuning into the New England Legends podcast each week.
We do, and we're grateful for all of you who are writing to us, joining our Facebook group, and leaving comments on our website at ournewenglandlegends.com. There you can see photos related to the old Hayden Mansion. Just click on episode 32.
Our theme music is by John Judd, and we'd like to thank Lorna Nagira for lending her voice acting talents this week.
Until next time, remember, the bizarre is closer than you think.